church family, Annie Neufeld here with your weekly small groups video. This past weekend, Pastor Chuck preached a stinger of a sermon in our second week of our Lenten series, His Words, Practicing the Transformative Words of Jesus. Pastor Chuck brought a sermon to us from Matthew 18, verses 15 through 21, and gave us so much practical application. Now, this passage sits in a section of the scriptures in which Jesus is talking about how we care for the most vulnerable. And he says that if we lead the most vulnerable astray, and specifically in this passage, children, we will be held accountable because God loves people made in his image who are vulnerable and who don't have the same kind of resources that the rest of us have. And then we come to Matthew 18:15. And in this passage, Jesus gives us a process by which to handle conflict. That process begins by going to the person directly and seeking reconciliation. We don't stuff our feelings under the rug. We don't stuff the conflict under the rug. We get it into the light and we talk about it. But if that doesn't work, we bring 2 or 3 witnesses with us. And in that's not done in order to bring shame or humiliation. It's really done to bring accountability and restoration. Last, if that doesn't work, we bring in the whole church. And again, not because of shame, not in order to humiliate someone, but to seek true restoration. And all of that is really predicated on trust within the church, that the church itself has to trust that we are here to care for and to bring accountability. Pastor Chuck said at the beginning of all of this, though, we really need to listen. We need to be honest. We need to make space for one another. We need to commit to the health of this church, really believing that this conflict will not undo us. But in order to do any of that, we have to admit the ways that we mess up. So for our question this week, I want to invite you to share the ways that you do conflict poorly. For some of us, we avoid. We stuff our feelings. We don't want to talk about it. We try to pretend like nothing happened. For others of us, we get defensive. We shame. We need to be right at all costs. We simmer in anger and resentment. So what about for you? What are the unhealthy ways that you handle conflict that you need to give over to Jesus so that you might be made whole? This is really important stuff for us to talk about, not just for us as individuals, but really for the effectiveness of the entire church and really for our witness. So as you go this week, we are sending you with the words of Matthew 18:15 memorized and offered up to you by the Nishizaki family. So enjoy.
If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over.